Everyone is there? Anyone can unmute and say me that you are there. I'll start the class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll start the class. Last class we have discussed.
Sir.
Okay. Last class we have discussed about summit curve, and we have not discussed about the valley curves, right? So today we are going to discuss about valley curve. Valley curve we are going to call it as also a sag curve, okay? Which is having a convexity downward direction, and here you are going to get the again 4 possibilities of different forms of your valley curve. Unmute ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರ್ದು Rambo, who is Rambo? Please unmute. Okay. So in the last class we have discussed about summit curve. Now today's class we are going to discuss about the valley curve. In this valley curve we are going to call it as also a sag curve. Again in this sag curve or a valley curve you are going to get the 4 different possibilities or 4 cases. Which are those 4 cases? Same the last class whatever we have discussed with respect to your summit curve, here also we are going to get the 4 possibilities with respect to the valley curves. Which are those means? So here this first one is, which is this? Negative gradient meets positive gradient or positive gradient meets positive gradient? ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Which is moving from top to bottom and which is added to your bottom. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ valley curve. This is forming a valley curve. So here we have written as capital N, that is your deviation angle is equals to plus N1 means positive N1. This is negative N2 or what? I will show you people. This is what we have discussed in the last class. This is your positive gradient which is moving in the upward direction and which is moving in the downward gradation, that is followed by the downward gradation. This is negative. So when you are taking a deviation angle over here, so definitely you are going to get what? This is your deviation angle, capital N is equals to, that is N1 minus of minus N2. So that you will get what? Minus plus N1 plus N2. This is the case we have got in the last class. Means we have discussed about the summit curve. Now I am asking you people to the valley curve. This is your negative N1 and this is your negative N2 or positive N2. I am asking here. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ N1 ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ N2 ಆಯ್ತಾ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಏನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. So in this case I am asking you people, what is this? In this case definitely you will know that this is your negative N1 and followed by the positive N2, right? So formula ಏನಿತ್ತು? N1 minus N2 ಅಂತಿತ್ತು. So you got minus of N1, so minus of N1 minus of N2. So if you are taking common as minus, what you will get? N1 plus N2. You will get N1 plus N2. This is the case. The third one, ಇದು minus ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು plus ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ. So it means negative gradient followed by the positive gradient. This is the case 3. This is your, what will call, this is your auto accept ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, so this is your case 4. In case 4 you got, this is your N1. Which N1 you have to tell me, and this is your N2. Which N2 you have to tell me. If you are taking this one as a positive N2, if you are taking this is positive N2 and this is negative N1, whether this is the case correct or wrong? Is negative is positive illa idu positive idu negative? Please tell me. Anyone?
Sir, N1 is positive and N2 is negative, sir. Sir. N1 is negative and N2 is positive, sir.
N1 is negative, N2 is
positive.
So if you are taking N2 as positive ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, this is the case. ಇದೇ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕೇಸ್ 3 ನೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. How it will become case 4? How it is become case 4? Case 4 is nothing but your N2 is positive ಅಂದ್ರೆ minus of minus ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಇದು, right? ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, I'm asking you people how you are going to get the N2 as a positive and N1 as negative. So N1 negative ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. If you are assuming as N1 is negative, okay, exceptional case. So it should get positive. ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? So here your N2 is equals to 0 because at gradient, it means it is moving in the downward. ಇದು downward move ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ definitely we are going to get the minus N1. So capital N, that is deviation angle N is equals to what? Minus N1. Did you got this point? Right. So in this case also, this is your minus N1 meets your minus N2. ಎರಡು ಮೈನಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. It is completely moving in the downward direction, which is not moving in the upward direction. When it is start moving in the upward direction, definitely it is going to get you the positive gradient, right? ಇಲ್ಲಿ positive ಇಲ್ಲ, which is not moving in the upward gradient. So we are taking as, so we here we are considering as what? Minus of minus, both the cases. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? First case. First case, in first case you got both the minus signs, means minus N1 and minus N2, right? So here you are going to get minus N1 and this is your minus N2. So when you are going to determine your deviation angle, N is equals to minus, okay, N1 minus of minus plus N2. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ಲತ್ತದ ನಿಮ್ದು minus N1, that is your minus N1 plus N2 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ. Negative gradient meets negative gradient ಅಂದಾಗ. So here this is case is wrong. Both we are getting the positive. How you are going to get the positive? ನಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ.
ಸರ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇದು ಸಮಿಟ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಐತೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ N1 ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀನಿ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ N2 ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಡಿವಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ ದಿ ಡಿವಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಏನದ? ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ? N is equals to N1 minus N2 ಅಂತ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ,
N2,
right? So this N1 is positive, I will get N1 minus of minus this N2. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಂಗೆ for this curve? N1 plus N2 ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
N2,
will you accept this one? So I'm asking you people how you are going to get deviation angle is equals to in terms of your valley curve N1 plus N2 ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು. whether this is ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ದಿ ಥಿಯರಿ, ನಾನು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಐತೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು, ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿಲ್ಲ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅದ, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ಸ್ at gradient, descending gradient meets ascending gradient meets another ascending gradient ಅಂತ ಐತೆ. These are the 4 cases. So I was asking you people, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ. when I was solving all this formula, that should come or that should accept or valid ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ. this is negative gradient minus N1 meets N2 minus N2. so this formula is wrong, right? This formula is wrong, right? This is ascending gradient, this is positive gradient meets positive gradient ಅಂತ ಐತೆ. ಎರಡು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದಾವ. you are getting here, this is a positive N1 which is moving in the upward direction and again which is moving in the upward direction N2. so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ? ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ N is equals to N1 minus N2 ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. will you accept this formula? ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರೋದು ರಾಂಗ್ ಐತಲ್ಲ. this is your negative gradient N1, negative gradient meets your negative gradient ಅಂದ್ರೆ minus N1 minus of minus ಅಂದ್ರೆ plus N2, that is nothing but your N2 minus N1. ಈ ಕೇಸಿಗೆ that means negative gradient meets negative gradient ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬರಬೇಕು, negative gradient positive gradient meets positive gradient ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬರಬೇಕು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಎರಡು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ರಾಂಗ್ ಐತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನೇ ನಿಮ್ದು ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಪವರ್ ಆರ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಡೆಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ. ಇದು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್ ಐತೆ, ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇಫ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಟು ಬಾಟಮ್, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಗ್ರೇಡಿಯಂಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುವರ್ at gradient, definitely your N2 is equals to 0, which is equals to your natural ground profile. This is negative gradient, so minus N1 followed by your positive gradient, positive N2. ಹೌದು ಅಲ್ವೋ? negative gradient followed by positive gradient minus n1. So minus of n2 minus common ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ n1 plus n2. I will get this concept. Correct. ಇದನ್ನು correct. ಇದೇ ತರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇವೆರಡು ಕೇಸ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಯ್ತು. Right. These are the 4 cases. How you got in case of your summit curve. The same thing here also you are going to get the 4 cases. ಈ ತರ 4 ಕೇಸ್ ಬರ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Out of these 4 cases you are not going to get any numerical part. You 4 ಕೇಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಯಾವುದೇ numericals ಬರಲ್ಲ. Based on these 4 curves only you are going to get the numericals. Please keep it in mind. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. What is the main reason of providing this curve, or why I was providing this one? I will tell you people. When you see this slide, definitely we are going to get why I have added this slide. Okay, so here we are going to determine the length of your valley curve. Right, we are talking about the length of valley curve. Here we are going to determine the length of valley curve. When we are determining the length of valley curve, you are going to get the 2 possible cases. Which are those 2 possible cases antandre? So in this valley curve, first point is your what? The curve convexity, it should have in the downward direction. The convexity which has the downward direction, and the deviation angle we need to determine. That is your algebraic sum of your the 2 gradients. A 2 gradients na algebraic sum ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನ deviation angle ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So when you are talking, see here, I will draw one small valley curve. Let us assume this is your valley curve. Right, in this valley curve, a vehicle which is moving in the downward direction. What? A vehicle which is moving in the downward direction. In the valley curve, the centrifugal force is developed and acts downward direction. Okay, the centrifugal force of this vehicle which is developed over here, along with this centrifugal force you got the self weight of your vehicle. Right, self weight of your vehicle. The self weight of your vehicle, along with, in addition to this, a small pressure which is provided on your suspension system. Please ಅದು unmute ಮಾಡ್ರಿ, ಯಾರ್ದಾಯ್ತದ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ವೈ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಡ್ರಾನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೇಬಲ್, why I was showing this previous slide, which is not yet related ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಬಿಟ್ರೆ. There is a related between this previous slide and this slide. So this is your valley curve. In this valley curve, vehicle which is moving in the downward direction, a vehicle which is moving in the downward direction. When it is moving in the downward direction, the centrifugal force developed and acts downwards. Along with this centrifugal force, the self weight of your vehicle will also be acts in the downward direction. So during this time, the pressure which is applied more on your suspension system, the pressure which is applied on the more on your suspension system of your vehicle, and which leads to discomfort your road users. ಇದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಫಿಕಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಫಿಕಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ವೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಎರಡು ಬಿದ್ದಾಗ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ನ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ಎ ಹೈ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ, ವಿಚ್ ಲೀಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ discomfort to the passenger. ಯಾವಾಗ centrifugal force, whenever if you want the centrifugal force to increase more, then you need to provide with your cubic parabola curves. I think you people have studied the transition curve in case of your surveying. I think whether it is in your syllabus or not, I don't know, but you have studied in, I thought that you have studied in the transition curve in your what we'll call surveying engineering. So there you have studied this graph or this picture. Which picture? This picture you have studied in the case of your surveying engineering, right? Transition curve ಆಯ್ತಿದ್ದು. So here there are different types of curves are there. Which are those different types of curves in the transition curves? Means one is your lemon skate, the second one is cubic parabola, and one more is spiral. Spiral means if you want to provide, ಈಗ ಇದ್ರಾಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು, which is the best method to adopt your what will call, which is the best method to adopt your valley curve. Means, so if some of you are saying that spiral is the best method to provide your valley curve, spiral is nothing but you are going to get this type of curve or this type of curve. If I want to cut this curve also, you are going to get the half semicircle, which is very discomfort to the road users, because here the centrifugal force is more. When the centrifugal force is more, then you need to go for the cubic parabola. Cubic parabola ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಈ ತರ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ವ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So this type of curve also we can't provide in the valley curve, because see here, if you are going to cut this type of, if you are going to cut in the vertical portion, this is your C. So when you are moving in this downward direction, definitely centrifugal force will increase. Centrifugal increase ಆಯ್ತು ನಾನೇನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, you need to provide with your cubic parabola again, which is leads to your discomfort to the road users. So in this case we are going to eliminate your cubic parabola, and we are going to eliminate your what will call spiral parabola, whether we are going to provide lemniscate or not, or whether we are going to provide only a cubic parabola. ಯಾವ್ದು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? ಸ್ಪೈರಲ್ ಅಂತೂ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸೆಮಿ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಸೆಮಿ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಇಂಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಎನಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು. Either it is balanced in the case of your lemniscate or it is balanced in the case of your cubic parabola. So when you are taking this one, this curve, this is your lemniscate curve. ಇದು ತಗೊಂಡಿದಾಗ ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, here in this curve you are going to see both the cases. Which are both the cases means you are going to see this centrifugal force and self weight of your vehicle can be balanced. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Some people what they will do, they will go for the cubic parabola and some of they will go with your lemniscate parabola. ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಯು ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಸರ್ವೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್. ಇದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ರಿ ಈ ಕರ್ವ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿನಿ, ನೀವು ಓದಿದ್ರಿಲ್ಲ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ ದಟ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, ಏನ್ ಸರಿ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಡ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ಓಕೆ, y is equals to bx cube, ಇದು bx3 ಅಂತಲ್ಲ bx cube ಅದು, right? In this valley curve, to determine the lowest point on this curve we are going to determine this one. Why? Y is equals to bx cube yakantandra, here the parabola equation is y is equals to bx cube. Here we are taking, what is this b means, this b is nothing but 2n cube divided by l square. What is again l? This is length of your valley curve. Okay, what is this L andre? Length of valley curve. To determine that one, to determine the lowest point, L accurate lowest point bulutte. Why we are going to determine this lowest point? Because in the lowest point we are going to get the least amount or minimum sight distance. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ headlight sight distance ಒಳಗಡೆ during the night case you are going to get the minimum sight distance. For that reason only we are going to determine your lowest point on your valley curve. ಈ ವ್ಯಾಲಿ ಕರ್ವ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಲೋಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಒನ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್, ದ ಹೆಡ್ಲೈಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಹೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೆಡ್ಲೈಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿವಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಲ್ ಹೋಗಿದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಇಫ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ನನ್ನ ಹೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೆಡ್ಲೈಟ್ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಡಿವಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೀಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಇದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದಿ ಮೋರ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ರೋಡ್ ಈಸ್ consumed, right? But here in this case the length of the road visible to this road user is very less because of your lowest point on your valley curve. ತುಂಬಾ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಅವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಿದಿರ್ತದೆ ನಿಮ್ beam of light. So for that reason we are going to determine your lowest point on your valley curve. This valley curve, okay, this valley curve, they got the two possible criteria. Which are those two possible criteria? Means one is your comfort criteria, the second one is your safety criteria. Safety means definitely we are talking with respect to the night. Definitely in night. During day we can easily visible the length of throughout the length of the valley curve. Now valley curve throughout the length of valley curve easy I guess smart both them. But during daytime there is no problem. This safety is purely depends on your second case, that is your night sight distance. For that night only we are going to providing this safety criteria. So I have written here, the driver should have adequate headlight sight distance at any part of the country. That is nothing but any part of the country is nothing but ಯಾವುದೋ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಆ road if you are taking any part of the country, means if you are considering the whole India, if you are providing n number of, you are going to get your valley curves. We can't say that only in Ballari we got the valley curves, in some other districts or some other states we don't have the valley curves. No, he meant to say that in any part of the country we are getting the valley curve, so you should have adequate headlight sight distance in that valley curve. ಆ valley curve ಅಲ್ಲಿ headlight distance ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. right? So when you are talking about this comfort condition, as now itself I told you people, this is your valley curving with the ಕೆಳಗಡೆ. If I was moving in the downward direction, the centrifugal force is developed. Along with the centrifugal force which is acting downward direction, you are going to get additional force. Which is this additional force? Is the weight, self weight of your vehicle, okay, which is providing an additional pressure on your, which is providing an additional pressure on your suspension system ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. For that reason ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. As the centrifugal force increases, that will leads to discomfort to the road users. For that case, what we need to do, you need to determine the centrifugal acceleration. There should be a change in centrifugal acceleration. Is limited ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದು ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, okay. And comfortable level of about how much, this is 6 is to what I'll call 0 is to 6 meter ಅಲ್ಲ, that is your 0.6, okay.
ಸರ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಸರ್?
ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ
ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ
ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟೇಬಲ್. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸೀಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಂತ್ರೆ ಕಂಫರ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಓಕೆ. ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಅದೇನಂತರ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಪುಷ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ವೆರಿ ಕಂಫರ್ಟೇಬಲ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ, ಆ ಸೀಟ್ ನಾನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಲ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಮುರಿದೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಭಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಂಗ ಏನು ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಗ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಅದ್ರದಿಂದ ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಆ ಚೇರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ಬಹುದಾ, ಈ ಎರಡು ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವ. ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ, ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಪ್ಯಾಸೆಂಜರ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಡದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ 2 cases, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಶೋ, ಇದ್ರಾಗ ನಾನು ಡಿರೈವೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ you can go through this derivation. Small derivation is there, which is very huge also is there. For your syllabus it is not, okay. Idu last class alli nanu nimge torsidde. What is this? LS is nothing but your length of your valley curve, okay. LS is nothing but your length of your valley curve, and V is the velocity or your design speed of your vehicle, right. C is the rate of change of acceleration, and R is your radius of the curve. C is nothing but your centrifugal acceleration ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. So here if you are taking this one, I will draw one figure also with respect. If you want you can draw. ನಿಮ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿನಿ ನಾನು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಇದು ಬರ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, okay. This is your valley curve, and I was considering this is my center point or least point of valley curve. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು least point of valley curve I was considering here, and this is my deviation angle, okay. This is my deviation angle. So I was noting down here, and this is my capital N. So I can write it as N1 plus N2, right. N1 plus N2. So in this case, so this is my center of point. So what I will do, this is my point, okay, and this is my point. So if I want to determine exactly at this point, ನಾನು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ x0. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಹಿಯರ್, what is the length? That is nothing but your L/2, and here you are going to get the length as L/2, okay. So if you want to take this overall length, so we can rewrite it as overall length of your length of your valley curve. So you can denote it as L, okay. You can denote it as L. So in this case what we are going to do, here we got this one, right. This is your length of your valley curve, VQ divided by CR, right. So this R, we need to determine the value of R. R is nothing but your LS divided by N. And again LS andre ಏನು, what is LS? Again LS is equals to what? L/2, okay. What is LS? LS is nothing but your L/2. So when you are going to determine, or when you are going to solve this one, definitely you are going to get L divided by 2N, this value, right. So the same thing, or the same what will call whatever the values I have got over here, if I substitute in the given equation, in this equation, definitely what I was going to get, ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಂಗೆ ಅವಾಗ, LS is equals to what I used to get if I was substituting all the values over in this first case. What I used to get, see here, LS is equals to VQ divided by C into R andre ಏನಿತ್ತು LS divided by N. So can I write here LS and multiplied with N? Can I write this one here? So if I was taking this LS towards your LHS set, what it will become? LS square is equals to N V cube divided by C. Definitely we are going to get. So if I was removing this square, so what it will become? LS is
Under
equals
root.
to, okay, you can take under root or you can write what will call 1 by 2 kuda baribodu. This is
Over S.
V cube divided by C over the bracket 1 by 2, right? So again you people know what is LS. LS is nothing but what? L by 2, right? LS is nothing but what? L by 2. So can I rewrite? Can I rewrite this one?
No.
Can I rewrite this one? L is equals to 2 open the bracket N V cube divided by C close the bracket 1 by 2. Last time problem ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಇದೇ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. To determine for your comfort condition L is equals to 2 open the bracket N V cube divided by C close the bracket 1 by 2. This is the thing we have taken, right? ಇದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು. For this case again ಇದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ again you got the huge derivation that is not useful or that is not used for our UG program. UG program ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ ಅನ್ನೆಸರಿ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ನಾನು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು? ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬಂತು ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಇವೆರಡು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು? ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿ ಕರ್ವ್ with respect to your comfort condition. Okay, this is with respect to your comfort condition. When you are moving with respect to your safety criteria, in this safety criteria again it is splits into two parts. Which are those two parts? Is nothing but length of valley curve is greater than your stopping side distance and length of your valley curve which is less than your stopping side distance. The same thing whatever we have done in case of your what we call summit curve. ಸಮಿಟ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಎರಡು ಕೇಸಸ್ ಗಳು ಇದಾವೆ. ಎರಡು ಕೇಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್ SSD ಅಂಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ದೆನ್ SSD. ಓಕೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಸೊ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ in this case you are going to get the two possible cases. The possible cases yavu antandre total length of your valley curve is greater than ade heladalli ninga. So here you can see here ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಅದು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತತೆ. ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್